This is a gentle reminder to all my viewers to be careful and stay safe and healthy out there. Hard times will take many of us, but not nearly all, and we can all work to lessen that number by being smart. Thank you. I didn't want to have this video done before my reviews of the previous two episodes, but unique circumstances, both personally and, globally, have made it so I didn't get much chance to dwell on In Dreams and Bismuth Casual before being hit with the freight train that was this pair of episodes, and feeling compelled to talk about them as soon as I could. Needless to say, the video for Dreams and Bismuth will be going up, and once on the series playlist will be ordered before this one. Together Forever and Growing Pains are both implicitly and explicitly about reminding the audience of the sheer magnitude of stuff Steven has experienced over the course of this show, whether that be small in-jokes, like his full name is Steven Quartz Cutie Pie DeMeo Diamond Universe, nailed it, or in his discussion with Connie about how they first met. Even just the very sound of Steven and Connie's ringtone should remind us all of the last time Steven pushed Connie away out of fear that she'd be better off without him. It's all in service of setting up what is ostensibly a sort of textual, metatextual reveal regarding how far back Steven's trauma goes. He's lived more life than anyone his age should have to. I'm beyond fascinated to see what rewatching this show feels like after having seen these two episodes. It takes literally 95% of the series, even the quote-unquote filler, and completely recontextualizes it. From day one, we've spent the last 7 years watching a child have their first traumatic experiences, and then a bunch more, and then a bunch more, without anyone ever realizing it because his nature both in attitude and in biology makes it so no one is really sure how to approach the subject. And it's not just the things we all knew Steven viewed as traumatic. It's stuff like freaking Frybo, or the cat fingers, or the watermelons, or Steven floating for the very first time. It's all these things that we look back on as small potatoes or even cute. The kinds of things all kid protagonists in shows go through, where Steven is still objectively a child having their life endangered. Any one of those goofy, funny B-plot episodes is still too much for a child to experience, and Steven took it all in stride for so long. It's a bold move on the part of the show because I have no clue how much this might totally wreck the escapist fantasy parts of any episode of this show on a rewatch. We've spent so long looking at Steven's adventures as, well, adventures as really well thought out, charming, emotionally complex action, comedy, and fantasy for kids. But even while it was being all that, it was deeply, deeply tragic from the word go, and there's almost nothing we can look back on that isn't now colored with that brush. Like, I don't know, Garnet's Universe? Restaurant Wars? I'm sure you could list the number of episodes that aren't horribly, horribly scarring this poor kid on like 2 hands. We knew that whatever happened involving Connie was bound to tip the scales in these episodes, in regards to Steven's mental state, but as always, what was really nice was having Greg play a part in the resolution of things. Both of these characters are so completely self-actualized that even still they both serve as anchors for Steven. Even though we do have the line from Dr. Maheshwaran making clear that even Greg has kind of accidentally screwed Steven over by being too lax and hands-off, which colors the ending a bit with the sense that maybe Greg still doesn't realize the severity of Steven's condition and how much help is really needed. That said, Greg's attitude of you don't have to solve all your problems in one night is something that Steven has needed to hear for a long time. Steven's biggest problem through this whole show has been not knowing what to do with himself now that he can't treat life like a project. And what he needs to learn, like so many of us in reality, is that sometimes living aimlessly for a while is okay. You don't always have to be moving towards something. Sometimes it's healthiest just to be. Of course, this episode also highlights how Steven's emotional well-being isn't even entirely in his own control. And again, like many of us in reality, it's difficult to come to terms with that notion that our own bodies are in a way poised against our ability to self-regulate. I swear, I can't think of another piece of Western animation that handles these ideas in a way as real as these couple of episodes that isn't called BoJack Horseman. And I might actually stand up and applaud if part of the solution here is, like that series, putting our character on actual medication to deal with their physiological and psychological condition. It's long stopped being a meme that Steven needs to be on antidepressants, and I'm actually super curious to see where we go from here, because with the way we've got the show set up, I highly doubt we're building to a place where Steven just gets better by virtue of getting all his supportive relationships back. And now that things have been put in explicitly physical terms, it might ring a bit false if the ultimate fix for Steven doesn't involve some kind of fix to his confirmed bodily condition. I'll tell you what, I'm intrigued by the choice to have the gem's X-rays shown alongside Steven's, as I think it visually highlights something we've always kind of known. That even with his friends and family around, Steven is and always will be something completely and singularly unique. An island, physically and socially. Speaking of Connie and how small lines of dialogue inform the conflict, I think this is also captured in the exchange toward the beginning of Together Forever. Steven asks Connie if she's interested in political science because of her experiences in space, and Connie basically, in the most gentle way possible, confirms she'd rather think of things in earthly human terms. It's a fleeting moment of Steven attempting to connect over one side of his life and Connie not quite picking up on it. No living being in the universe could ever be in Steven's exact condition but him or view the universe the way he does. And so it's hard to imagine any one person, no matter how close to him, could ever resolve the severe issues he has for him. And I think that fact is going to play a role as things potentially continue to escalate, getting worse before they get better. But hey, what do you think? I know that with everything going on in the world today, a lot of us might be feeling Steven levels of anxiety. So beyond liking, commenting, and subscribing, do me a favor and stay safe out there.